Hey man, I'm Jusko from Proud Money. July is the start of the third quarter of the year. Yes, even though we're in the middle of summer, we're already starting the third quarter, and it is time again for What's in My Wallet, where I show you what credit cards I'm going to be using in the third quarter, 5 main cards, and then a smattering of other cards. Let's get started. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the big 3 categories are groceries, gas, restaurants. If I'm getting 5% cash back or 5x points in those categories, I think it is going to be a successful quarter. And in quarter 3, I should be able to, starting with the AAA Daily Advantage Visa, which continues to give 5% cash back on your grocery store purchases. This is a no annual fee card, has a lot of other good rewards as well. Doesn't get talked about as much because it's not from one of the big issuers. You don't have to be a AAA member. It is from Comenity Bank. That's who's the actual bank that you will be dealing with. Not everyone loves them, but it is a pretty good card on those groceries and a lot of other good stuff going on as well. So I always wonder if they can keep it going with that 5%, and so far they have. Next up is the restaurant category. So for the first $500 worth, I'm going to be using the City Custom Cash each billing cycle. You can get 5% in one of the categories that City sort of delineates here with this card on up to $500 worth of purchases in that category per billing cycle. Now, the way they technically do it is whatever category you spend the most in, you're going to get the 5% in and 1% on everything else. I, of course, and other savvy credit card users mainly use it for the one category where we want to get 5%. So I will mostly probably only use this for restaurants. Now, because it does have that $500 cap each billing cycle, and I usually go over that, I will also have the Verizon Visa that will back me up on the restaurant purchases, which is going to give me 4 points per dollar on restaurant purchases. Now, the points that I'm going to get are really only going to be useful at Verizon. There's some other ways that you can redeem them, but mostly it's going to take some money off of my Verizon bill. So if you're a Verizon customer, great. If you're not, not so great. Now, as far as gas goes, the 2 main 5% rotating category cards out there on the market, the Chase Freedom Flex and the Discover It card, unfortunately, both offering 5% cash back on gas stations and electric vehicle charging. Now, I shouldn't say unfortunately necessarily, because it's good to get 5%, but we like it better when these cards don't overlap with their categories. This time they do, but I'll get 5% on up to $1,500 in the third quarter in that gas category. And then the Chase Freedom Flex card also has select live entertainment as another category that you can potentially get 5% cash back on. And then Discover has utilities and public transit as other categories where you get 5% cash back as well. And then the majority of my other purchases will go on the City Double Cash card, which gives 2% cash back on all of your purchases regardless of the purchasing category. So anything that doesn't fall into one of those cards I already talked about, those buckets, or some of the other cards that I have that are sort of more niche places to get greater rewards, it'll go on the City Double Cash card and get that 2% cash back. Now, I do have the Capital One Venture X, which is essentially sort of the same thing in terms of the fact that it gives 2 points per dollar on all of your purchases. This is sort of my backup 2% card. The problem with this card, I shouldn't say the problem with this card, the problem with me on this card is that I don't really want to continue to have this card when it is up for renewal again. So for now, it is still my sort of backup 2% card, but I think I'm going to be getting rid of this, as well as some of my other sort of higher end travel cards, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. And then a few other cards that will get usage even if they never actually come out of my wallet, one of them being the Amazon Visa. I have Amazon Prime, so it's going to give me 5% back on my Amazon purchases. So obviously I'm going to use that whenever I shop at Amazon, which I do on a fairly regular basis. I know a lot of people hate Amazon these days, but I can't stop my habit. Blue Cash Preferred from American Express. My wife is the sort of main card holder on this, and she uses this for groceries and gas. We also get 6% streaming services. I'm just an authorized user on this one, so I don't really use it very often, but it is sort of a one card that does a lot, and it works for her, so we continue to hold it. The Apple card will not be coming out of my wallet at any time, but I do, since last quarter, have changed over some of my stuff that I was getting through Verizon. I was getting the Apple Music and Apple TV Plus subscription. Those are now back on this card, so it will get a little bit of use. The Target Red card gives you a 5% discount on all of your Target purchases, so I may use this during the quarter. I haven't really been shopping at Target much in the recent past, but this might get some use. And if you shop at Target and you don't have this card, you're paying 5% more than everyone else. Backups. We got the Wells Fargo Autograph Visa, which gives you 3% back in a bunch of big categories: gas, restaurants, travel, etc. And so this is a card I like to always have with me, because if I kind of forget what is going on with some of the other cards in a pinch and I don't know which card to use, I just pull this out because I know I'm going to get 3% in a lot of the sort of big categories for me. And now the other cards that probably won't get used in quarter three. As usual, the Amex Platinum probably not going to get used, and probably on the, I shouldn't even say probably, I'm going to be chopping this out of my lineup when it comes up for renewal in November. This is a card that I got partially for this YouTube channel to kind of know what was going on with it, but I can no longer sort of pay that $6.95 annual fee and hardly use the card and hardly get any benefit from it. And I also know that they are going to probably raise the annual fee when they do another refresh, as they call them, in the fall here. So I still have the card for now, but not for long. American Express Gold I probably won't really use either. I'm kind of mad at myself because the whole first half of the year is coming to a close here, and I never used the Resi credit on this card. You would think over 6 months I could find my way to a restaurant that is part of the Resi program, but I kept just putting it off, and now we got to the end of the first half of the year and I haven't used it, which is probably exactly what American Express was hoping I would do. And for someone that goes out to restaurants a lot, I should have made that happen. Anyway, this card I got a big bonus on. It is fairly new, so I kind of have to keep it for a while, so I'm not going to chop it yet because I like to keep my cards for a couple years so that in the future these credit card companies will continue to let me have these big bonuses. But there's really not a whole lot going on with this card that makes me want to use it. I don't love American Express points as much as some people do. I have over 150,000 of them right now, and I'm not quite sure what I'm even going to do with them, so I don't need to be using these cards anymore. And eventually I'm probably going to get out of the whole platinum, gold, green system, the whole membership rewards program in general. Now, I do have the City Advantage American Airlines Platinum card, which I got not very long ago because it had a huge bonus and it has a pretty small annual fee, under $100. So happy with that bonus. I'm really not using this card for anything other than the fact that maybe it would give me a seat upgrade when I fly American and, get me on the plane a little bit earlier. I talked about in an earlier video where I'm kind of starting to veer more toward this type of travel card, even though I don't think it's very good on the rewards. And I do kind of like those little perks that come from the airline cards in a way that I didn't appreciate, I guess, when I was younger, and maybe when I wasn't traveling as much, when it was more about the points, and now I like those kind of little extra perks. Another card on the chopping block, even though it only has a $95 annual fee, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I think I'm going to be getting out of this card as well. I can't remember when it's coming up for renewal, but I hardly ever use this card. I have kept it over the last few years and gone back and forth on it many times and then never pulled the trigger. But now they just got rid of the 25% extra in redemptions through the Chase Travel Portal, which makes me think there's probably going to be some changes to this card coming. So maybe if there's something really interesting that happens with it, I would keep it, but I don't think so. And the Wells Fargo Autograph Journey has an outside chance of being used. This is a card that has $95 annual fee, and it does give you some good rewards on hotels and airfare in particular. So if you're somebody that doesn't really want to get into the like travel points game or travel miles game, but you just want to get some good rewards on those flights and hotel stays, this is a good card to consider, especially if you do spend quite a bit on travel, because you're going to get 5 points per dollar or 5% cash back if you want to think of it that way on your hotels, 4% on your flights, 3% on restaurants. So a lot of good things going on with this card as well. But for me, even with that being true, I don't know if I'm using it or will use it quite enough to sort of justify that $95 annual fee. There's another card where I got the nice big bonus when it came out, and so I'll hold it for a little bit, but I don't know if I will keep it permanently, but I don't have to make that decision yet. And then the final card I have is the Amex Everyday, or at least I think it's the Amex Everyday. I can't even remember for sure what this card is. It is the no annual fee version of the American Express card that does give membership rewards points. They don't even offer it anymore. I keep it around because it is my oldest card. It used to be the blue from American Express card, which is, you know, like 25 years ago or whenever I first got this card. So I keep it because I like to have that on my credit report and have it work into my credit score that I have this old credit card, but the last time I used it, I can't even remember. Probably when they threatened to take it away if I didn't use it. So overall, I've mostly fallen into a pattern of using cashback cards when I can get that 5%. Sometimes I'm using these travel cards, and then oftentimes I am going after a bonus on a new card that will, you know, be part of my spending in the third quarter. That is not true. But the sort of big thing for me, I think, right now is that I am trending sort of out of the high-end travel cards that have the 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, probably 800 soon. Annual fees, because I just don't see that they are worth it for me. Some people like a little prestige of having an American Express Platinum card. I don't really care so much about that, and I don't really see the value. And I know some people can get value out of those cards, but I have determined that I am not one of them, and so I'm going to be trending out of those cards for the most part and more into maybe the cards like that American Airlines card with the lower annual fee, but there's some perks with the airline. Those are probably more valuable to me, even if I don't get much in rewards from the card, because I got the bonus and then I'll get those little perks, and it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for me to spend $700 on a credit card where I'm not going to use many of the features or rewards that come with it. So that is it. I would love to hear what you are using in the third quarter. Put those ideas in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching.